when you were looking at this schedule for the Lakers, you probably had penciled in, even before you knew LeBron was coming back, but certainly once you heard LeBron was coming back, wins against the Bulls, the suddenly red-hot Bulls, by the way, who won again last night, and the Magic, whose offense is just impossibly bad. The Bulls instead scored 146, and the Magic scored 118. And so what I am concerned about, what I'm not concerned about. What I'm not concerned about is this. It always takes, guys. I think one of the things we in the media do a very poor job, even though we see it time and time again, but one of the things we do a very poor job of recognizing or accounting for is when athletes tell us, man, there is nothing to prepare you to play professional basketball like playing professional basketball, we should believe them. And by that I mean every single one of these great players, when they are coming from an extended layoff, take 2 or 3 games to look like themselves. Luka, his first few games with the Lakers, after being out for a while with injury before and then during the trade, was so rusty. There was a brief, maybe Nico was onto something, renaissance. And then, of course, it went away. Luka got to being Luka. Again, sticking with the Lakers. Austin Reeves, who's not a great player, but a good player. His first few games, back from his injury, he didn't look anything like himself. Then he immediately ripped off the best the best stretch of his career. So LeBron not playing quite up to LeBron's standards the last couple games is not something to panic about. And here's the other piece of it, and we'll get into this more in a bit. The entire Western Conference, except for Oklahoma City, is on a losing streak. Spots 1 through 9 or 2 through 9 in the standings have lost. The Rockets, again, streak is too much, but have lost their most recent games. The Rockets lost their last game. The Nuggets lost their last game. The Lakers lost 3 in a row. The Grizzlies lost 3 in a row. The Warriors, Clippers, Timberwolves all lost their last game, and the Kings lost 3 in a row. Of those teams, obviously, Houston had won 9 in a row. They were playing great. Golden State had won 8 of 9. They were playing great. And the Clippers had won 8 of 9. They were playing great. And the Timberwolves had won 7 of 9. They were playing really well. But the teams the Lakers are really jockeying for in positioning, Denver and the Grizzlies, they've lost 6 out of 10. The Grizzlies have lost 5 out of 10, which is why the Lakers losing 7 out of 10 has not killed them. And so it has opened up the window potentially for one of those teams, Denver, the Lakers, or the Grizzlies, to drop to the 6 if the Warriors keep winning. But that the Warriors, Steph dealing with his injury, and the Warriors just took a loss, so they cooled off a bit. We'll see how they look in Jimmy's return to Miami. But so standings-wise, this hasn't killed them. So those things I'm not worried about. This episode of What's Right is brought to you by Daya Pizza, featuring dairy-free cheese made with their new Daya Oat Cream Blend. Dairy-free cheese has come a long way. Daya's leading the charge. Their pizzas offer the melt and stretch of traditional cheese without any dairy. Each Daya pizza starts with a perfectly crisp crust, layered with savory, satisfying toppings, and finished with cheese that melts and stretches beautifully. The Daya Oat Cream Blend delivers a creamy, cheesy texture that's indistinguishable from dairy-based options. Every pizza is crafted to be dairy-free, making it a great choice for anyone seeking more inclusive meal options without compromising on taste. Daya takes the concept of dairy-free to a new level, eliminating faux moo. That is not the fear of cows. That is the fear of missing dairy. These pizzas deliver delicious taste and texture, making them perfect for any occasion, from casual dinners to game day spreads. Enjoy a FOMO free pizza night with Daya. Visit DayaFoods.com for more information or find Daya Pizza at retailers like Whole Foods, Kroger, and Walmart. Coming soon to select Publix and Sprouts. Follow Daya on Instagram and TikTok for more updates and recipes. Here is what is a legitimate concern and what has to be said, and I think JJ has alluded to it and he's correct. This Lakers team is not good enough defensively to hold anyone under 115 if they are not locked in, dialed, and connected on that end of the court. And the last few games, they have not been that. And so I do not think it is the sky is falling for the Lakers. I do think that I said yesterday on the show that over their next 5, they should expect to go 4-1. The next 5 were Orlando, Indiana, Chicago, Memphis, home for Houston. That was the 5. Well, they just lost the first one. And so 4-0 with one back-to-back at Indiana, at Chicago might be a tall ask, but it's what the expectation should be. At Indiana, after back-to-back bad losses, you must win that game. At Chicago, even though Chicago, again, what has Chicago won? I'm looking at it right now. 8 of 10, I think that is. Yeah. They've won 8 of their last 10. And one of those losses was a heartbreaker to the Rockets. At Chicago, after you just let Chicago and Kobe White embarrass you, you must bounce back and win. At Memphis, with Memphis, we'll see if they're still dealing with all those injuries, a game that I'll be at, actually. That's a game that you absolutely got to find a way to win. And then home for Houston, in a game that if you have any chance of catching Houston in the standings, you must win. That'll be the kind of pivot game. But these next 2 games for the Lakers, at Indiana and at Chicago, and Indiana's good. I'm not trying to downplay Indiana, and Indiana is hot right now. I think they've won 5 in a row. Those are games you absolutely unequivocally must win. And I'm really interested to see how the Lakers are able to guard Halliburton. Because obviously Kobe White had that monster game against them, 46 or something. And Orlando scoring 118 when Orlando cannot score. And Franz and Paolo combining for 62. It's problematic. So, not panicking. Those are a couple bad losses. One of the reasons you don't panic is, again, if we talk about the Western Conference playoff situation, and I alluded to it, a lot of these teams are in, again, Houston is not, and the Warriors are not. But Nuggets, Lakers, Grizzlies, some because of injuries and some just because of like a March malaise, just don't seem to have it all together. On the other hand, the Thunder just keep handling their business. They win basically 9 out of every 10 games they play for almost any sample of the season. It's really like 8.5 out of every 10 games they play. They're on another ho-hum 6-game winning streak with a point differential for the season of 13. That team is excellent. I know, breaking news, the Thunder are excellent, but that team is really something. And you might be like, well, then Nick, why aren't you picking them to win the championship? I'm very interested to see how they can deal with Luka and LeBron in a playoff series. But if the Lakers defense doesn't tighten up, they're not going to get the opportunity to go against them in a playoff series.